Hello and welcome to the seventh episode of the Joe Martin Show. Today I'm here with ValleySwerve. So can you introduce yourself a little bit?
What's up, y'all? I'm ValleySwerve. I'm a electronic producer slash DJ slash independent.
You have you got a lot of titles.
Slash like internet influ. I'm not an influencer yet, but internet personality. I'm trying to build up the brand.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
a lot of 1099 miscellaneous taxing right there. If you get me.
I think that's like the Valley story where there's so many, like every musician has to do everything. They have to produce, they need to make their own instrument, be their own marketer.
Oh, for sure.
Everything.
They gotta be all of it.
You have to be everything. There's no teamwork.
Yeah, hey, some people do have teams, honestly, but it's already at the very bottom. It's got to be yourself first.
It has to be everything.
Yeah, you're your partner, and then building it up like the whole street team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in terms of you, like the common misconception that even I had was that you are ValleySwerve, but there's actually like two different people. It's you and another person.
Yeah, there's two people. So my actual my producer name is Eno, Hino. I haven't really used as much because I've kind of been just debating about using like my birth name, just Carlos fine enough. But people have already referred to me as ValleySwerve so many times.
Yeah,
but
so like,
even though like it's kind of like a collective experience where it's like it's me and my partner Shay Knox. Yeah. He's the one who birthed the name ValleySwerve. He does a lot of production. We collab a lot of stuff. I mean, he's actually quite a bit of the discography himself alone. But it's a team effort, as we were mentioning. It's like it's easier when you have a team. But hey, even just two people, like that takes off so much workload. Because like we talk about doing a lot of the viral ideas, trying to do all the, just what to advertise, how to make the content. As far as like YouTube, social media stuff, and then just uploading stuff on Spotify.
No, it makes sense because it's a whole saying: two hits are better than one.
Yeah.
Like me, I have to do every single thing, but at least you have a partner who can help you out, and you can get like more ideas. Like you might get like a different angle in terms of what your projects are.
Oh, for sure, yeah, definitely. I mean, that multiple perspective is nice, especially it comes up with ideas that I could never have come up with, and just the synergy of that, is nice. And I mean, duos as far as duos as far as that goes as like a concept within music, and other forms of artistry. We see that more common within like the music space, right? Like it's very much like, cliche example, Daft Punk or Justice. They're branded as two individuals, but the one or the collective idea. So that's what I really wanted ValleySwerve to be. Or both of us to be, and but how you don't really see that as much as you see with films. Like, I guess the first thing that comes off the top of my head as far as like movies go as a media is like the Wachowskis as a duo and such. Yeah, the two of them.
The only one I can really think of is Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera, yeah, exactly. And I mean that had a pretty sad backstory.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like in music, it's very like a common thing.
Yeah.
Like just it's an acceptable concept, but I don't really see in other forms of art as much as like duos as like I guess just a present thing.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah, but then again, I'm like artistically illiterate. I don't know all the painters in the world. I don't know all the visual artists in the world.
No, but you do bring up a good point because like anybody can name like John and Paul.
Or
like for me, like I'm a big
like the Matt and Kim, for instance.
Like for me, I'm a big Aerosmith fan, so it's Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. They're called the Toxic Twins.
Toxic Twins, yeah. And another classic example, Hall Notes.
Yeah.
You don't even say their first names.
It's Hall Notes.
Yeah, you just say Hall Notes because that's it. The duo concept is great, but I mean that naming scheme was not what we're going for. Just like the whole Daft Punk, Justice, that just one thing that
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So in terms of music, what was your like musical journey from starting off to getting to this point?
So me, like a lot of other musicians, we probably were playing. Also, for anyone watching this edit, like there's two different cameras, so I don't know which I'm looking at half the time. But
that's why I usually just look at the person.
Yeah. I got this
one
one solo camera over here, and then we got Joe's camera over here. Not sponsored by Sony and Canon, but that's our.
I would love to, but
links to our Amazon affiliate on the bottom. Okay, I'm just kidding, but I was like, what did it get here? A lot of musicians like relate to like. We all start making music, just the attempt of making music, like in middle school and high school, right? Like we learn, like some of us start learning instruments in middle school or high school, because it's just kind of like, it seems to be one of those things like you just do your whole life. Like people who draw, people who commission art online on Twitter and Etsy, like they have to been doing it for like a good portion of their life. And when did that usually start? middle school, high school, right? And
Yeah.
same thing with music. Like people who probably started in marching band or a jazz band or concert if they had concert. My school didn't have those at all, except for marching band. You
Yeah,
know?
marching band,
And the
same
only
thing.
thing they had was mariachi, and I did not join mariachi. But
Yeah.
that's kind of regret. Maybe I should have done that. But you know, we started off doing that like in our adolescent years, or I don't know. I still kind of
Was
feel
there
like a
a
teenager.
certain like event that led you to like, you know what, I want to do music? Because a common thing I tend to see like once in a while is like guys wanted to impress some kind of girl and like, oh, I'm gonna
dude,
learn guitar.
Honestly, that hits too close to home, and I don't want to talk about that because that's cringe. But yeah, I think
a lot of people admitted it. I mean,
yeah, I think music people, as opposed like okay, so music bros and like versus film bros and like art bros or
Yeah.
you know painter bros, whatever. Like yeah, I know the stigma on musicians is pretty tarnished about not Elden Ring reference, but like it's pretty it's pretty dirty just because of like, oh yeah, you want to be in a band because you want to impress, you just want to
Yeah.
get laid, and like I mean in high school it's like what do you do to peacock yourself to women? I mean
it's music.
like what is a talent, what is something you could do? Yeah, for me it was the music, but
Yeah.
obviously I mean whether I'm successful or not it's kind of like a 50-50.
because usually at that because I listen in high school it's usually either sports or music. There's no other
because we all know the acoustic guy who's playing
Yeah.
his guitar in like the front of the schoolyard, and also in college too, and just like playing Wonderwall. Anyways, guys, here's Wonderwall. Some emo cover, like MCR guitar or Blink. I'm like, oh, dude, like it's cringe, but like I'm cringing not because of him, but because like it's a reflection of like
it's
my
like-
attitude towards it.
it's a universal experience.
It's a universal experience. Like, and cringe isn't, to me, it's a neutral term. It's like we all relate to it because
Yeah.
we have the flinch in ourselves
because
like,
we've been there before.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just the human experience. So
Yeah,
but,
so like for me, like when I think about cringe, like when I cringe myself, like I'm usually looking at my past self. I'm like, oh my god, like why did I do that?
Yeah.
So when I see someone else doing it, I'm like, oh no, I understand where he's coming from. I know why he's doing it, but it doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. Yeah, and it's like, but like I don't know. I can't really give advice. I don't think I give the best advice. I mean, I'm a flawed person, so
Everybody's father.
it's not like my opinion even matters.
So what was like that event where like I'm gonna get into music?
Well, I think it's like I didn't really care about music until I mentioned this in Ramus Media's interview, Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah.
That like it unironically changed my life as far as like my perception on music because it introduced me. Well, then I got into rock and roll, and then it got me more deep. I got more deeper into like the heavy metal subculture.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like it just made me think like the way the songs were done as covers.
Yeah.
Right, because when before Activision acquired it, what was it? It was Harmonix Studio.
Harmonic Studio.
Yeah, right. They were like independently doing the songs themselves because obviously it costs a ton of money to get the master reels to any of these licensed songs. So only like 5 songs of the first 2 games are actually the reels.
Yeah.
Everything else is just they straight up covered it. But like the covers are so on point. Like the replica, especially like on the second game, I think the quality just improves drastically from the first Guitar Hero. To me, like Guitar Hero 2 is the most iconic. I know for most people it's 3, but I think 2 was it. Like it had the perfect sampler, like playlist sampler that I could be introduced to, that I think is like all encompassing rock genres. It's got just like the 90s alt. It got like the new American metal stuff. Like it had like Lamb of God and like Death Clock from Metalocalypse on the bonus. And I was like, it's like, oh dude, that was a moment because like people like big companies started doubling down on like rock memorabilia, paraphernalia, like culture.
Yeah,
even,
that was like a resurgence.
I mean, of course, we look back 2000s and it's like it's not mostly metal. It's mostly going to be newer emo or scene music, right?
Scene music.
And that's fine. It wasn't my thing, but like I look back and I understand why people were in it because the attitudes are pretty much synonymous. Like the whole communities, like as just like rock in general, shouldn't really be divided, and I think we're just constantly trying to do that.
Oh yeah,
with
there
various
is.
genres too. We divide like hip hop to me seems to have the most congruentness, like the most unity. Like oh yeah, rap, hip hop. I mean, people just say that and you know what you're talking about, but like that alone has so many variations.
Yeah, because
like,
I mean, it's always like a situation where, like, let's say, like some band starts doing like a ballad song or a pop song.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're selling out.
You're selling out, or it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think we have those kind of fights with like rappers. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing about rappers is like to build up from where you were.
Yeah,
and
the only
then-
time I've seen it happen is like when rappers start like doing movies and like
Yeah.
they, instead of doing like rap music, they used to like switch to like kid friendly.
Yeah,
That
like
happened to Ice Cube.
like Ice Cube or Snoop, you know,
Yeah.
like Snoop's like whole metaverse thing, and I'm like, okay, but that was like what 30 years in his career,
Yeah.
like dude, at some point, or like what Ice-T is playing a cop on Law and Order,
Yeah.
or is it
Or Ice
CSI?
Cube when he did Are We There Yet? Like,
Are We There?
like, when
Yeah.
they did like the family movies and all that stuff.
And then like they're trying to be meta in their own, like, you know, when I was in the hood, all this, like
Yeah.
you die, you play this boy band stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of funny. Like I look back because it's just like as teenagers, we're like, oh, this is lame, bro. Like how could he go from NWA to Disney movies?
Yeah,
or whatever? But it's
basically.
like, yeah, everyone wants to survive financially.
Yeah,
have,
I mean that's
a
where
retirement
like that's
plan.
where the money's gonna be at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You
and-
can only rap for so long, and
Yeah.
you look tough before you get old, and then it's like
Yeah, absolutely. But I think with just arts in general, like the thing about selling out just feels like such a dumb concept because at some point, yeah, you want to have like financial stability in the arts, and I don't think it takes away from the art unless you're making something very explicitly that's completely against your brand. But I mean, you know, that's far in between, and I know people will give Green Day, you know, that slack, right?
Yeah.
or American Idiot, or just like I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't care because like if it's a banger, it's a banger. You know. But I know with like painters and stuff. Sorry for this video, but like with art and
I'm
stuff.
getting all wet
it's-
here. It's freaking I'm getting the SeaWorld
The
experience.
zero, oh no! You roasted me. I was like, I hope the hype. I record this in
I
1080
know.
instead of 4K, so hopefully that doesn't come out.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's just I know. I feel like with painters, it's become more of like, oh, they did this one thing and they're selling out. They stick with like, was it God? I can't remember his name, but the one that did like all those drop chance paintings, like Jackson Pollock. What's his first name?
Yeah, I think that's what you. I just remember Pollock. Or
Pollock, right? Like Pollock did hyperrealism. Then he started doing like pseudo 20th century expressionism before he did the whole famous drip stuff. But he didn't want to continue doing that because he didn't want to like sell out. But not necessarily he didn't want to sell out. He just didn't want to be known for that one thing because he was constantly pushing his own art before his like untimely death. But yeah, I feel like we're super hypercritical with that versus like film and music. But I guess music is kind of like a close second to that. But like, you know what? Like, I just make stuff that I like, and if it's popular, it's popular because there's nothing wrong with popularity.
Oh no, there's not.
And taste.
Out of curiosity, do you ever have that fear about yourself, where like since you have this ValleySwerve branding, where with the anime and all that stuff, like, do you ever get scared? Like, I'm gonna get older, and eventually it's gonna be kind of weird, like being 40 years old, and I still have that kawaii aesthetic.
No, honestly, not really, because like I mean, one of the biggest future funk producers who was like pretty first, second wave at the time. Night Tempo, if you're familiar. Yeah, Night Tempo was born in the 80s, man. He was like an 88 baby, 89, you know? And like, but he, like the whole city pop aesthetic has always been part of him since he was like a kid. Yeah. And, you know, and like a lot of people in the western side of the hemisphere, like we were introduced to anime and city pop and J-pop and, you know, a lot of those Eastern aesthetics, like, I guess high school, middle school, well, for us as millennials, but like, you know, maybe Zoomers now, they have an easier time because the internet just makes things accessible. Yeah. TikTok makes things way too accessible. You know, and so like I still respect the nostalgia because I feel like there's a nostalgia, especially with older media, even if I barely watched it, and that just goes for anything. But like, yeah, I wouldn't feel ashamed if I'm like, you know, like 40 and I'm still trying to make this kawaii music or aesthetic music. I mean, as long as the vibe is there, you know, there's always something to adjust it with. Like, I just want like my branding to just be like just overall like the wavy, you know, the waviness.
Oh yeah,
and that's pretty much the most consistent thing I feel.
I was honestly gonna make a joke about your branding.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. You can roast me, bro.
You know that jacket? You have that purple, white, blue.
Oh yeah, that's actually like Leather by Wilson. I bought that off like a Etsy shop, like a vintage shop.
Because I was going through Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's this whole video where people are like nostalgic for 90s Taco Bell.
Oh shit.
And the color, if you look at the colors, like the purple, the blue, the white, it looked like your jacket.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the vibe
But
right
honestly,
there, like the geometric 90s shapes. Yeah.
But honestly, it makes you stand out because I don't see that many people with any kind of branding in terms of clothing.
The clothing, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd say there's some people that have like an aesthetic to it. I mean, I know we kind of came out of in 2022. I just feel like, well, obviously since I don't want to say the C word because of YouTube, but you know the critical time of how do I say this without not getting delisted? The unfortunate 2020 incident. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like because of that, I feel like we live in a very non-linear time, right? Like what is the trending now? Like films don't even go to theaters anymore because it's kind of a health problem. We just stream it on HBO. Like what are the trends? And then trends just get kind of like pickpocketed whatever TikTok is or whatever Instagram is.
Yeah, I think in terms of trends, like it's getting like more segmented towards like different groups because now everybody has their own little pocket.
Yeah.
So like now it's hard to have like an over like reaching trend. Like once in a while you get it with like something with Marvel maybe.
Marvel,
but, like,
or like like if a massive video game drops, like everyone addicted to Elden Ring right now.
That's
I mean, I don't know what's going to age between now and like 2 months, but or Squid Game a couple of months before Halloween, that stuff. But well, I guess what I was relating to that was that we had like in the 20 like pretty much from like I guess forever before the internet, even like up to the critical time in 2020. It's like there was a very designated. We look back at decades and we think of an aesthetic, right? Yeah. Like for me, the 2010s, the whole like where hipster becomes an abused buzzword. Hipster this, hipster that. Oh, it's got to be folky, like or bohemia became like a trending word too. But like we're like the folk movement, Lumineers. I was gonna say like God, what was that one band with the banjo? Jesus, I can't remember. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot. Mumford & Sons. Lord, I couldn't remember that name, man. It was just like, oh man, I was gonna say Imagine Dragons, but Imagine Dragons like had one folk Billboard hit, and they just quickly moved on because they're trendsetters or trend copiers, whatever. But like there's like I think of like that rustic like hipster nature, and then. You go back to thousands, like a lot of people just reminisce way too much about emo music. So like, that's a thing. It's like, oh great, as a millennial, I have to be reminiscent of this, and I didn't care about it. But
so you weren't really into that stuff when it was popular?
No, I wasn't really into that, at all. But like, it's like 2020s now. It's like this decade, like. I guess there isn't one consecutive thing. It just feels like this. I guess the end of 2010s also felt like that. Like this weird amalgamation of so much aesthetics that the internet just kind of clashes together because. Everything is just everyone's their own little hyper niche. Yeah. Everyone is already into what they like, and they aren't necessarily persuaded by what TV's gonna. Because I mean, we've been watching. Yeah,
at this point, the TV's because before there was only 3 channels or 4 channels, whatever. Whatever you watched, I mean, most any other person that was with you like probably watched it.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm like, well, I guess that's not really changing things. And like I guess when vaporwave and future funk kind of started in the 2010s, like that was already kind of going against the. Well, I guess it kind of corresponded with the 80s nostalgia that we're perpetually living in, 80s this, 80s that, wow. But, just the 90s and then the Y2K aesthetic, which has been trendy, but, like, it hasn't hit as hard as 80s nostalgia. And that's probably just because we're not the majority of the age population in, like, I guess the country, I don't know. I mean, everyone's technically mostly boomers and stuff, so. Yeah. And Gen Xers, so they kind of control... more the nostalgia culture, but like it's really there for me, and I relate that more with like growing up watching I guess at the time I didn't know it was anime, but your early stuff, right? Yu-Gi-Oh, 4Kids Media, right? The Sabian stuff like Digimon, and then just like that's what like eventually led me into being very, like I said, very consecutive with anime versus
like for the people who can't really see like there's a lot of anime stuff around here. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm trying to do like this whole like bunker thing where you just see this backdrop, no windows.
I love the whole different colors and everything. It's great.
You're missing it. Maybe we could do like a screen, like a room tour, and we'll just edit that in. Yeah. But yeah, like that's just like what I've been like about, aesthetics are very important. I know there's a long tangent, but like, yeah, I mean, the aesthetics to me have been a very important branding. I don't know. I mean, I can't think of like, actually rappers usually have a very consecutive aesthetic for themselves. I mean, some bands do too, right? I mean, I can't think of, man. I'm just like super mainstream, like rock bands. I can't. Because everything's either been like a solo artist, either pop or like rap wise, But yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their own credible aesthetic, Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, it's valid to me. But yeah, I just want to make like my thing very known. Like when you see it's like that's
ValleySwerve. Yeah, like when you wear that jacket, like when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, that's him.
That's him.
There's no way. No one else is doing this. It's him.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And like it's not like anyone else could do like a 90s Windbreaker stuff or whatever, just like that nostalgia. But I just
anybody
like
can, but they don't.
They don't. Yeah, I mean maybe because I like it more, so that's like I'm willing to be part of the branding and stuff. I get tired of wearing a lot of black. I try not to wear black. I have like my closet is like half like clothes, just nothing but like black band t-shirts. I'm just like, oh man, just like I love color a lot. You know, I like the flamboyancy of different palette arrays and stuff. And a lot of the nostalgic, like that Taco Bell thing, like 90s really did explore a lot of that geometric, but also like color, like suave array of themes and choices. You know, like it was kind of experimental, and I know that was carried over from the 80s. But,
it makes sense because I mean, even with me, like before, like I would just wear like even when I wear like colors, it was always like muted dark colors. Like if I wear purple, it was like a dark purple. There was never any like bright colors until now.
Yeah, like that's right. Like, even I think about like 2010s or not 2010s, but like 2000s. Like muted earth tones. You said it. Yeah, no, that was also me too. Just like gray, black. Like if we're doing like an edgy band shoot, like what would I wear? Like perpetually just stuck in that. You know, just like I look at this shirt. I'm like, oh man, this is some ValleySwerve swag, right? Some drip right here.
I've been trying to like pick up with bright colors, different patterns, and all that stuff. Like I love it. And that way, like when people see me out there, like if I go to like a concert or anything here, any kind of music event, they'll know like that's Joe. There's no one else is wearing those kind of colors right now.
Yeah, definitely. That's Joe Martin.
One question I did want to ask you on the topic of like nostalgia. Yeah. Do you ever get scared that like stuff that you enjoyed when you were like during your childhood or 10 years is now becoming like nostalgic? Because with me, I'm starting realizing like, hey, the GameCube came out like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, 20 years. A whole adult is like someone right now could be drinking and they would be as old as your childhood in terms of the GameCube.
I mean, that's how I felt when like the 90s wasn't 10 years ago. And, like, hey, the 90s isn't 10 years ago, and like the whole, because that was just a carryover from the 80s weren't 20 years ago, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, like the PS2 is how old, or the Dreamcast is how old, or the N64, like you said, like anyone who was born when the N64 came out drinking alcohol at a bar, that's so weird. Yeah, because they're not children. They're like adults.
They're adults. Yeah, that's what it got to me.
I mean, I think we all suffer with age dysmorphia or dysphoria, if that's even the term. But you know, just getting old. It's like, just
the fear of aging.
I'm going to become my dad. I'm going to become my parents. No,
that's what. Because I always think about that. Like, at what point does a person become old? Like, I think part of it is like your word choice. Yeah. Because not to make fun of Derek, but like he was saying certain words.
Oh no, Derek. Just kidding.
But even though like when I was seeing him, like man, like your style's like stuck in the early 2000s.
Oh shit.
And this is stuff I told him. Yeah, there's no like talking behind his back. Like I told him like, hey, like because I know like his style is like really like because I know he's trying to be like John Mayer. Yeah. And even at that point, like it's like early 2000s. His word choice was some like. Those are kind of old words.
I mean, yeah, he's got like that singer-songwriter setting that's cool. Like, I didn't think about John Mayer, or like a pseudo Elliott Smith. You know, but that's cool. I mean, that's his. I like how like people are like everyone's different. Where, I mean, in high school I was like super douchey about like, oh, this isn't real music. You know, metal is the best music. You know, or whatever genre. I mean, people were like that for everything.
Me, it was during that time. It was with dubstep.
Dubstep. Oh yeah, this isn't real.
Yeah, like this is just noises.
It's noise. It's not. Oh God, what was the word before EDM? Like electronica or some whatever.
I think so.
I mean, I hate to say the word. I hate the word techno. Actually, I feel like a lot of people that say things are techno. But like you know, like even they're like, I'm getting defensive. I'm like, why do I care? Why do I care if things have to be this thing? You know, it's like I should just. If people like it for what it is, and I mean, I shouldn't be policing. Yeah. I catch myself policing people all the time, and it's very hypocritical. And probably like people watch this, like, dude. ValleySwerve's a douchebag. He's like, no, he talks down on everyone about their tastes.
And like the situation I was talking about, like, wasn't even about Derek. It was because I was at Home Depot and I saw like these millennials, and again, I'm like in between
these millennials, these old people. I was like, what I do to you, bro?
Because I was like, I'm in between Gen X or Gen Z, whatever, and Gen X is older.
Or like a Zoomer or Zoom millennial, I guess, right? Yeah.
And I was hearing them say like, oh, like this is so ratchet, like. That word, like, I haven't heard that word since like high school. Dude, and so like these people are aging and they're keeping like that vocabulary where you can tell their age. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, Rash. I still say that.
That like, oh, that's like you're getting salty. I'm like, no one uses these words anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It's man. Now I'm cautious about like using these words. I'm like,
that's why like when it comes to me, like I'm very smart. I don't use any like slang, so they won't know my age.
He's got drip.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm trying to keep it how would you say it? I guess without showing any kind of age with my word choice.
Well, I feel like man, I don't think even words from like the 2000s even carried over very well. Like man, dude, no one's gonna say bling. No, actually, Swerve is actually very 2000s, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, that's an ad-lib for most rappers, and I was like, when people... Cause I'm surprised you didn't ask me, like, why I came up, or why Shay came up with ValleySwerve, and it's just like, maybe because we already explained it, but, you know, the whole thing
you
is...
can explain it to me, because this is a whole different audience.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, like, ValleySwerve is, like, you know, Valley, RGV, you know, that's the geological...
Yeah, with the palm trees. Looks
palm
nice.
trees and shit, yeah, it's very on brand, like, palm trees, tropicalness, and then Swerve, you know, an ad-lib you've heard so many times. I mean, famously in Kanye West's Mercy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, that's just to keep it that it's very hip-hop. It's still based in hip-hop, you know.
I think what keeps it fresh is just that, like, the colors and all stuff. Like, I know it's kind of like, how would you say it? It's not vaporware, or what would, like, we would consider the pinkish and the black.
I guess yeah, I was trying to get it from vaporwave. Like this shirt, I just did a one print from Sticker Mule. Like, I didn't have the actual, like, salmon shade I would use in my test print, because they just have very, like, you know, standard colors, orange, red, whatever. So that was the closest I get. But yeah, I would probably use something more in, like, the vein of, like, that Taco Bell 90s, the salmon and the teal and what's the other color? Turquoise, right?
Because even though the word Swerve is probably, like, a little bit aged, but, like,
it's an aged word.
What keeps it fresh is the colors.
The color, yeah. And I just hope, like, I know, like, image speaks more than words, but sometimes when you just see text, it's like, I don't know how dated it feels. But maybe it is what it is, because, like, I'm selling some kind of nostalgia factor in the aesthetic. So
and I think you kind of need that, because, like, someone needs to fill in that group. Because right now, I mean, like you were saying, like, in terms of culture, like, in mainstream culture, it's going to be the boomers. So right now, like, the whole 80s nostalgia is going full force. Yeah. In terms of younger kids on the internet, it's like the Zoomers. Honestly. The millennials are kind of, like, in between, where, like, where do we go?
Yeah. And then, but I feel like we all have, like, a nostalgia for time we didn't exist in, or we were too young to enjoy. Like, how everyone millennials, like, oh yeah, let's bring back goth and dark wave, and now it's just like there's so much goth and dark wave. I'm like, y'all made Boy Harsher too big, or y'all made what was that Berlisian band, Multidoma, that one hit that went viral on TikTok, and it's like, yeah, this is definitely not. I mean, it's new music technically because it got released here this time, but, like, you know, it's reminiscent of, like, you know, 80s European goth stuff. So I guess that's me, but, like, with city pop and old, like, boom bap style hip hop, and you know, all the whatever the vaporwave or blaps. If people are even, like, if just to be clear, vaporwave, in case people that aren't aware, you know, it's just it's a micro genre that's very reminiscent of, like, usually Japanese aesthetics, but incorporation of, like, 80s to early mid 90s.
I guess the simplest way would be like if you ever look like the old VHS sleeves.
Yeah, like
they had like that colorful style. Yeah,
colorful geometric style, like the neonness of the neon 80s and, like, the neon 90s. And then I guess proto Y2K, because I wouldn't really say Y2K is vaporwave. That's definitely, like, its own time segment, you know. Yeah. With that harsh, like, soft white, but, like, that super cybernetic kind of feel. You know, like that you see in, like, early NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears covers. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's very much there, but, you know, that's its own thing. But I guess there's some overlap, because I do a lot of Y2K overlap. I feel. Even with, like, if you notice, like, the last couple events I did, like the Matrix Night, you know, that's very on the par for that, you know, and trying to keep it so good in that outfit. Honestly. They just, I was like, I was talking with Luca about, I'm like, man, he could actually pull off a Keanu Reeves type thing. Yeah. Oh man, I just gonna be a little bit taller, but I appreciate that. You know, I wish I had, like, his jawline, but yeah, that's definitely big. Matrix for sure has been, like, a big part of, like, my inspiration. Like, that's something I watched and I never let go, and I'm like, yeah, this is my personality. Why is that? Like, why do you think, like, you held on to that for so long? Like, because I think it just encompassed everything I like. Like, it's not necessarily the ValleySwerve brand, but, like, as me, like, trying to invent a lot of these older genres into, like, a fresh reintroduction for a new audience. It's like, I liked, as far as I mean, it's more on the cyberpunk dystopia side, but I really like the fashion Matrix has aged pretty well. People constantly reference it, like, pop culturally and aesthetically, as opposed to the 90s vapor. Oh, what's up? Sorry. What's up? Because I was thinking of the Matrix, like the long black trench coat. Yeah. I guess there was this guy at Home Depot, this older Mexican man. Oh yeah, yeah. He was wearing, like, a long trench black coat, and me and my coworkers were making fun of him. We were calling him Blade. Oh, Blade! Oh, hey, Blade was another one. Blade. Oh man, man, dude. Honestly, the Matrix Night, it was like I felt it was more Blade the Matrix, because it was like, oh, let's play a lot of industrial EBM stuff. I'm like, okay, we'll just do Blade Night if we're all just gonna wear like leather trench coats.
Yeah, might as well.
Because like the thing is, like Matrix, it's very tailored, like it's very body form, you know.
Yeah.
Like Blade is more of what you think like goth industrialism. It's up here. This movie recording has been stopped by Mackley. Okay. Oh, sorry. How is this going on?
It goes on till it dies.
It dies? Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry for that brief segment. We'll have to edit that out. But my EOSR only records 30 minutes max every time. So,
it's all right, man.
All right, so I'm gonna rewind a bit. But yes, I was saying like with Blade and stuff is very much more like the goth industrial that still stayed with us since like 2000s stuff. But like Matrix, it's like. It kind of comes in and out as like a pop culture sensation. Well, I guess as far as like reminiscent, but it's also like a joke because we joke about the Matrix. But I'm like, what I took from it and I kept it forever was just like the aesthetic meant a lot to me as far as like integrating that kind of like cyber goth is kind of like I guess where I got the idea from the Matrix. You know, it's like the incorporating that with the whole technological like aesthetics of like you see the wires and stuff, the way the Sentinels look, you know. But the idea of just being plugged into this virtual reality in like the whole .com era like birth of all that is just like it was such a I think a fresh take. The way it even looks just with all these old CRT monitors, kind of like the closest thing that really reminds me of that in the same studio VR experience is the anime Serial Experimental Lane. If you've heard of it, it's a very cult classic anime.
I haven't heard of it.
From the late 90s.
Can you explain?
So Serial Experimental Lane was it's a 13 episode televised anime that was about this middle schooler connecting into their version of the internet called The Wired, and the way it introduces like abstracted philosophy that I still don't quite understand half the time. But as far as
that tends to happen a lot.
Yeah, it has a lot with, especially with anime, like a lot of like late 90s and 2000s animes.
For me, the big one was Ava.
Ava for sure. I mean, if you want to break from Ava rewatching, definitely watch Serial. But yeah, just the way it's like that's also very cyberpunk, also dystopian to the idea of like we're all just going to be integrated into this one societal network that's digital.
Some giant consciousness.
Yeah, a giant consciousness is pretty much what The Wired is, and I just like that idea. It's just very, reflective in those two franchises. They're separate, but like I like that theme and how that's kind of come back with a lot of like underground Bandcamp like electronic producers that are embracing that Y2K aesthetic. Like now they're kind of famous. Machine Girl. Yeah. Machine Girl. They had like this very famous album called Wolf Girl, which is about like it definitely does incorporate a lot of Y2K rave. Or Sewer Slut, which is a more modern producer who also kind of has like that experimental Y2K rave aesthetic, which is what I've been trying to like experiment with more with my sets. I haven't done that much musically, but I definitely do plan on doing like a cyber rave kind of album. I definitely would want to do like a cyber night, like not necessarily Matrix theme, but just all general like cyber aesthetic, like a like cyberpunk kind of thing, or just like club like those, because it really set myself up like when you watch those movies as a kid, especially Blade, the opening scene of Blade, and then like all the club scenes in the Matrix. It's like that's what you think clubs are, and then as an adult, it's like you go to clubs and they're not really clubs; they're just bars. That serve that. They serve beer and alcohol, like food, but it's just like it's not a club. It doesn't have like all the crazy lights, and they don't play none of this crazy ass techno music. It's just top 40 and like a bunch of, as you said, ratchet shit. It's like, oh wow, that's why no one dresses up. They just go in like shorts and t-shirts and like
just to chill.
I'm like, yep, this is they've all lied to me. The Hollywood movies, like when you're watching like Degrassi as in middle school, or I guess I know for now kids is Euphoria, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my high school, and then you're like, nope, not really. I mean, it probably is to an extent, but not that grossly exaggerated. And just like, man, this sucks.
And I think the reason why it's like still coming up, because I mean even right now in terms of like actual life, like you have the whole metaverse thing coming up, so that whole idea of like plugging into a digital consciousness is still like relevant. It's very relevant, but it's done much cringier. Oh yeah. Like the metaverse. I mean, I don't know if like I'll get flagged for my views, because the general consensus, right, is that like metaverse sucks. Zuck's trying to control our minds and harvest our data and like turn us into like little data pigs in a pig pen. But I'm like, I still think the metaverse concept is
I still like it. I'm gonna say ideal was the word, but
for me, like I think people are making fun of it, but like they shouldn't because we're already living within it.
Yeah,
like, if you really think about like the whole thing about Facebook, they make money off advertising. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like all we are is just like digital minds connected to the server, and we're just feeding it. So we're already part of a semi metaverse.
Yeah, like it's just having a digital footprint online.
Yeah.
Is already the metaverse is like nothing that they invented. I mean, metaverse is as long as the internet exists essentially. You know, a forum is a metaverse. You're talking to strangers halfway across the world. Like you're not plugged in a VR headset, but like it's not like Sword Art Online or some shit. You know? It's like
the whole idea of a metaverse, it was actually from the either 80s or 90s where this guy he developed a novel. I think it was called Snow Crashers.
Snow Crashers, okay.
And so basically all of these like tech like weirdos, whatever. I call them weirdos. But like the Mark Zuckerberg,
like tech geeks,
all of them, they all love this guy. I think his name's Stevenson Neal. But basically, he makes all of these like dystopian novels, and like whatever technology they have, they try to copy off his novels, and it always like happens within a couple of like decades. So like cryptocurrency, he had that whole idea already like in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
Metaverse 80s or 90s. Then he had this like whole idea of like colonizing other planets in the 2000s, and I think the book was called the Seven Eves, where he believed that like after we would like colonize like I guess Mars or some other planet, that there would be like 7 different women, and like we would like each follow like their personality type, and it's very interesting.
Okay, I gotta look that up because I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Yeah, he's an author, and like, he has these different novels, and like it's really interesting because like not many people know about him, and he has like legit connections to the government and a bunch of other stuff. Like he has like really smart family, like scientists and all stuff, and all these tech geeks, whatever. Like that's what I call them. They follow his like novels and try to make it a reality.
Yeah.
So like I think the whole idea of the metaverse, like even though right now it's fun to make fun of Mark Zuckerberg, I think like that's gonna be the general direction. No one's fighting it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean you really can't even fight it. I mean, what do we have as choices for it? You know, it's just like. You could just live off the grid, but I mean, no one truly is going to do that. Their entire network isn't, unless they're.
Who's going to get rid of their smartphone, your laptop?
I mean, the fact that you have a phone, even if it's not a smartphone, like it's still pinged to like a satellite that knows exactly where you are.
Or the cell phone towers,
Yeah, I mean, you would have to like just delete every like integrated electronic device you have, but it's just not possible.
No one would want to do it.
Yeah. At least sane people. Maybe some people would.
Some people would.
Some people
you have the
Amish
and everything, but like at that point, who really wants to go back to like churning butter with wood and just like.
And that's kind of the sad part because it's like no matter what, like I try to like I do get fed up with the whole like cyber dystopia like as a novel concept because it's like oh god they're gonna do this like all this crazy corporation, but it's like, why is it impossible to climb towards at least a cyber utopian ideal?
Yeah.
We just don't have the power to do it ourselves, and anyone who's like corporate is not going to have the best intentions anyway. So it's just sad because like I'm fed up with it, but it's like it's also slowly the reality that we've like become.
For me, it's just the social aspect that I try to like wonder because like, could you imagine like, it's going to be really the metaverse is going to or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be very tempting because. Online, you can have whatever personality you want. You can be whoever you want, whatever gender, whatever color your hair, everything. It's going to fulfill that fantasy of being whatever you want to be. But the moment you take it off the whole like cyber suit or like Ready Player One, you're going to come up to the real reality that, hey, sure, you have all these friends online, you have all these cool experiences, but in real life, what are you actually doing? And that's going to like really hit people with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, no, and I feel that because like even if I'm not a big fan of like those kind of stories, like Ready Player One, Sword Art Online, or whatever, where you connect into VR, like it does say a lot, like where I wouldn't have this music career if it wasn't for the internet, if it wasn't for me having like one track, kind of go viral on TikTok, and then people actually streamed it on Spotify, like am I earning? Do I think I'm earning enough? Or any artist from any kind of monetization from streaming online? Absolutely not. Not for sure. Like for sure we're being exploited.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know what I would be doing in a scenario where the internet just did not exist because I would probably just be working the same job I was working.
Let's say there was no internet. What would be like your actual job? Like
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would probably still use the degree I have.
What degree do you have?
Oh man. Okay. So like I don't want to get too personal about it, but like I got like a BA, a business administration degree, and I haven't, or actually, I guess technically it's a BBA, but I just feel like those environments don't work well for me. And like maybe I haven't tried hard enough, but like with the choices I have, I guess I'd rather try to pursue this as like, you know, an actual dream I've had forever. And I think it's a big gamble. A lot of artists in general, musicians aside, have to take, you know, like, do they want something? If they pursue this, they don't know where they're going to go unless they have like steady connections, but it's just all a gamble. It's like people investing, like I said, in the whole metaverse, cryptocurrency stuff. It's like, it's just people fed up with like the ways society works, you know. I don't want to say the S word. He said the word, he said it, you know, but just the way we're all set up. And it's just, man, I don't know. Like, I guess I have maybe incorporated something of a commentary along with my music. I mean, I've said it in, you know, several of these interviews, my opinions about it, but it's just like the direction of like being like a self-contracted artist, whether you're a musician or someone just selling commissions on Etsy or even videographers, right? Yeah. I mean, like any kind of that freelance work that kind of overlaps with you know, creative endeavors like making new music or making new art. It's just like whether you're at that point in your life that you could actually pursue it full time or even just part time, and just it's always that kind of that worry dread, like, am I going to make it? Will there be one day that, like, as an artist, you'll be compensated fairly for what you do in your respective media? And I don't know, it's a dream.
No, yeah,
it's the biggest dream I've had.
Because chasing a creative endeavor, basically, like, the way to describe it would be it's a leap of faith. Yeah. There is no set path. There's no like, okay, you get a degree, you become, let's say you want to become a doctor, you get like a small job, and then eventually you go from a clinic to like a giant hospital, and you have like a set path. When you're going in a creative endeavor, there's no like set path for you. You're just doing a leap of faith and hoping you get something done.
For sure.
And not many people make it either, so.
Yeah, it just sucks because like it's like not even just money inflates or prices inflate. It's just like we inflated, I mean, just existing as a person, like like for instance, like you said, like career requirements, like like, man, just having a bachelor's or a college degree in general is just a minimum now, you know. It's just like, it's just to get you pushed on top of like a stack of other applicants, but doesn't mean that you're qualified to do things, you know. And it's just like, I don't know, I mean, it's crazy because like I mean, we live in a time right now where accessibility is as best as it's been so far. It's not great, you know, as far as healthcare and, you know, just education, but like because of that, it's like just more ways for you know, everyone gatekeeping, like you know, professionalism from making it difficult for people trying to get to it. Whether it's not professionalism in both like a corporate sense, an educational sense, and of course, you know, like the whole artistry sense. Yeah. You know, in my case, being a musician. As many others. And it's just like, oh man, you know, it's just a dread to like not think about, but it's like, it's hard even to me to motivate myself knowing that. And it's just like I know like that whole Sigma grind set, you just gotta grind it, you know what, like all these obstacles, it's just what is it, XP buffers or whatever video game logic, like all those stupid memes do. But I'm just like, no, it's a terrible toxic way to feel about it, because like, you know, you just want to be treated fairly and for what you do, and you know, and as long as you're a respectful, you know, person. But not to get too much on a downer on that.
No, like, I mean, these are the realities people need to talk about, because again, some of the people who are watching this are going to be musicians. They're going to be much younger. You need to pass on this advice from an older. I mean, I'm not trying to think. I'm not counting you old.
I'm only 28. I'm old now.
You're still young, but in terms of like the experience you accumulated, this could really help out musicians who are barely starting off. Whether it be like, again, they start off at middle school, high school, they have these dreams of becoming a rock star, having a music career. And there needs to be like a dose of reality where, hey, you might not make it. You might get a couple of gigs and all that stuff, but you never know what might happen.
Yeah, true. You know, when my art teacher from high school, I don't want to name drop him for just doxing's sake, but he definitely said, I asked him like, yo, sir, does a starving artist like stereotype real? And he's like, to be honest, man, they're really, this is what he said. So I'm not going, this is his opinion, but like, there is no such thing as a starving artist. Like, there is a way even someone who just has the art degree can still make it, either by being an art teacher or like some kind of like commission work, but like they'll never be like true out of it. I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of like, it seems like very dissatisfying, because I'm like, okay, some people actually do struggle a lot, after with an art degree, pursuing art full time, being a graphic designer, being a painter. And maybe not everyone wants to teach because that's kind of the thing, right? It's like, oh, you got a music degree? What are you going to do? Become a band instructor? Yeah. Right? You got an art degree? You're just going to be a high school art teacher? I'm like, okay, but that's not saying those are not respectable professions. They are needed. And like those people inspire others to do art. Like,
but that's not the first thing you want to become.
It's not the first thing you want to do, right? It's just like, oh man, like, I don't even think about it. Like, dude, am I even qualified to teach music? I don't think I am. I don't think I know enough theory. I don't have formal training in music. Like,
just show off your Spotify.
Production,
Let's say you there's a parent who like, hey, can you teach my music? Like, my kid music. Yeah. Look at my Spotify. Look how many. Look at my top track. That's all you have to do.
What does that even mean? He's like, oh man, that's just the algorithm just favored me at one point. But,
you can still flex it.
Yeah,
look at these 100,000s or millions of views, whatever you have.
Yeah, like last time, like how I mentioned, or the first time I guess I got YouTube interview with Ramus, it was like, my strategy was like, I'm gonna go in this with like the businessman mindset. Like I'm gonna game the algorithm. But the algorithm has drastically changed so much from that interview that it picks me up sometimes and then sometimes it doesn't. And then I don't know what it is, like I guess the best thing for me, I have the most time, and this is exhausting work, but submitting your tracks to every playlist, credible Spotify playlist for free usually. Don't ever pay money, honestly. If they charge you money, it's a scam. Oh, okay. But like reputable blogs, and I know you got to write emails and people hate writing emails, but hey, that's where your literature composition class from high school, maybe college, comes in, because you got to be your self-publicist. I was like, man, I look back and think like, should I have gone a business degree? No. Should I have gone like a communication degree and like understand how PR works?
Yeah.
If anything, I would go back. If anyone who wants to do this like as an actual like professional job, I would feel like that's definitely something you should think about, like in college, if you're going to go to college, but I mean, or even just a vocational school. But yeah, like PR communications is definitely probably the most adjacent thing, where it's like you have enough of like the real world business application or self-marketing applications besides art. Because yes, of course you should, if you want to go to art school, go to art school. You want to go to Juilliard for music or get into Berkeley, yes, pursue music. But there's definitely those real life supplementary things that are also
that's what I went for, and honestly, all it did was make me hate journalists.
Oh man, I mean, the integrity. There is no integrity. It's all lobbied. Whatever.
No, it's not. It's not that, but it's just like the techniques where like you start like learning the bullshit. Like, oh, so this they teach you like how to spin stories. And all that.
Yep. The psychological aspect. This is how you get the deets. I'm like it's malicious. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I thought it was journalists, and again, I don't really like them. There was this one journalist from the Monitor. I'm not gonna say.
Oh yeah, no doxing here.
I'm not gonna name her, but
don't fire my man Joe. Just kidding.
No, what are they gonna do to me? Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking over here that we're still getting the audio feed. Okay, we're good. Yeah. My dumbass was like looking at that because I was okay. So I keep on looking at my camera because that record button I couldn't see. I thought that was low battery.
Yeah.
But it just literally says record. I'm like looking at this like dead in the eye for like the last 40 minutes we're talking. I'm like, oh my god, I look like a freaking serial killer. Like, this camera, but was it Kubrick stare? Sorry, but anyways, the Monitor.
So what happened was there was this journalist covering my sitting, and I asked her, like, hey, what got you into like this journalism and specifically like this stuff?
Yeah.
She's like, I want to keep like the people in power in check. I'm like, oh, that's pretty noble. I mean, part of journalism where people think is like you keep politicians in check because they're the ones who like give information from whatever they get from the meetings and then pass it on to the people. And I remember one time she was covering.
That's a bold statement, man. Like you're really talking to the man right there, like keeping politicians in check. Like that's ballsy.
Yeah. And then she covered I think it was Brownsville, so I'm gonna dox in here, but I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
She covered the Brownsville, like there was like some corruption with the school system, or I don't know what's going on. And within a couple of months, she became part of their PR team.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, like even when you go to business school, it's like, oh, these don't feel like ethical decisions to make.
Yeah.
Like even when you're, I mean, a lot of people have pursued sales. I was in sales and I'm terrible at sales. And I think a lot of peers honestly got into sales. Like I'm thinking about everyone in high school got into sales, people in college who did sales, after graduation. Everyone who got suckered into Cutco, Vector knives,
no.
Like no dissing anyone. I mean, like if you're great at it, you're good. But like MLM stuff. But it's like when you're learning about like just trying to get like the persuasion, the psychology, which they don't want to say. It's like psychological, but it's manipulation, right? Especially if you're in sales, like just doing these things, and obviously the same techniques in journalism. You're fishing out information, social fishing, which is like what this era of the internet has been, right? It's not hackers trying to get into your bank account. It's like it's being very polite to people and then fishing that content.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with you right now.
Yeah, I know, bro. I know. I see those techniques. I'm like, don't worry, bro. I got an audiobook from Audible. Those free credits. I'm like, was it dark psychology, NLP, neurological programming? I don't know. Just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not very ethical. But yeah, it's very synonymous. Oh, sorry. Similar techniques.
Yeah. That's what
and then and of course what happens when you're trying to survive in this world for money to eat, what's gonna happen? You're
eventually going to see something. Because again, it's not just picking on her, because
but no hate to her, because it's like I still empathize.
But the one I would criticize the most would be the girl from KRGV. I'm not sure you've seen the case, but she used to be one of the main news anchors, and then she switched over to being part of the PR team for the mayor of Edinburgh. And she when he was going through his trouble, whatever.
Oh yeah.
She was blocking the way from KRTV to report.
I must have missed that. Man, I gotta pay attention to local news, man. I'm missing so much tea right there.
This was a couple of years back where the mayor of Edinburgh was going to get arrested or whatever, and she basically started blocking the way and arguing with the journalist, saying you shouldn't be you're a journalist, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Okay, man. I don't know. Is that some Valley Oli stuff, or that's just because I'm not paying attention? That's crazy.
Valley. Yeah, she was from KRTV, and they keep part of the mayor's team, and she started blocking them. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, man. And I mean, this was viral. So I mean, in terms of the Valley at least, but
no, but that's still
that's kind of like, do I really like journalists? And I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Valley. Also, when it's so small, not necessarily that incident, but when you do something wrong, it's and it becomes a local sensation. It's you can just say it's just the Valley, but I think the Valley is a lot bigger than we think. I don't think the scope is being really big. If you mess up in the Valley, you still pretty much messed up.
Yeah, because then all it takes is social media and
just to make you. I mean, and then sometimes it gets poured out to the rest of the world. I mean, all these stupid Boca Chica memes with Elon. It's just and Starbase. It's dude, I'm so over it. I'm just but that is what it is. It's just what draws people's attention. That's same thing with the game and the algorithm, as I tried for the last 2 years now. Is people have a short attention span, but it's not necessarily have a short attention span. The internet made us have a short attention span. The internet makes us perceive that we do. IG Reels, I noticed, if you go at the full 60 seconds, and of course TikTok, if you go the full length, I forgot what the TikTok length is. It's not going to pick you up. You're going to have low play counts because I guess it registers by how much of the percentage of the video is watched. And when I do a 60-second Instagram reel, I probably cap at recently the last one I did, I capped up 980.
Yeah.
Right, but one time I accidentally uploaded one of my my advertisements for my last cassette album, the first one I did, right? Oni-ism. I accidentally, I had low space on my phone, so it cut off the whole 60 seconds and just uploaded 12 seconds of it. But that had 2,200 plays in one day. And I was like, okay.
And when I saw that was intentional.
And everyone, my friend, Phantom Lux, who's joining me at this show, who I'm helping perform Oni-ism, he was like, wow, man, is that it? Is IG Reels the only ones to do 12 seconds? And I was like, dude, honestly, it glitched on me because I didn't have space on my phone, so it just forcefully uploaded only 12 seconds. And he was like, "Why don't you just take it down and redo it?" It's well, I could, but then look at all this play count. Yeah. And then that's when I stumbled. I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to make 15-second IG reels," which a lot of viral stuff on TikTok and IG reels is just shy of even 15 seconds. It's just short and to the point.
Yeah.
So it's how do I condense all this information
to 15 seconds?
And is that what we have to, but it's also then you make you realize you realize yourself this is so stupid. I'm dumbing down my content, which already feels like it's pretty dumbed down just to get exposure. But for me, my most track is to get exposure online. I know for most people in the Valley, they're trying to do the whole local syndicate thing, talk organically in person, play bars, and that's also very valid. I want to do that too, but my strength right now is just trying to get the next viral hit again, right? And it's just I don't know, it just feels there's a great YouTube video, and I forgot the name of the uploader, but you should definitely check it out. Anyone watching this about the this is not content. The Death and Birth of a Content Creator, and it talks a lot about like how we just dumb our music and our art, our videos to just content. Like everything is content on social media.
Yeah.
It's like it's not content.
It's disposable content.
It's supposed to be authentic and like personal, genuine art, but the algorithm and the social media platforms makes it content. You know, it's like you're trying to like get on trendy. Like, you know, there's apps that get advertised to me like these are the top 10 trending TikTok sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, okay, so you use the sound so it can hopes in being viral because with the plethora of everyone else using the same sound. It doesn't work for me because I'm trying to make my own sounds. So the viral ones, because like I'm the musician here. But like, you know, like it's just like that's just the way things are like fed to us now. Just trying to be. Yeah. I don't want to say influencers because that's like a dirty word, but you know, our internet personality. Yeah. Yeah. No,
I mean it makes sense because I mean even with the podcast, I mean, I know none of this content is going to go viral. It's not. It's not meant to be viral. It's an organic conversation, and again, when you do that, you can't have an organic conversation and make it go viral. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. Because like I've done content on YouTube before, and on my other channel, I know how to make viral content, but like with this, like I know it's not gonna happen. It's impossible.
But you never know. It's because like what your goal right here, Joe, would be like, you know, I see you working harder than like any other interviewer I've seen in the Valley. Like that's and I know a lot of people haven't subbed to your channel. Yeah. You know, and I haven't done my part pushing you there, but like I'm just impressed like you guys don't understand like how much this dude over here is like taking time out of his week. He makes like 4 interviews a week. I'm like, bro, I don't even have the energy to make one video. Like I'm burned out from one video. But like you're literally driving everywhere through the Valley, like getting as much coverage. Like you're doing it like super like professionally organic or you know, this is the real journalism in you actually doing it. You know,
this is the whole irony where like I hate journalists.
Well, I've become what I've hated.
It's the part of that, but like I'm actually doing what they're supposed to be saying. Like I'm doing the corporate wording. Like they're supposed to be like, oh, this is what you should be doing. Yeah. Like that's what I'm actually doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if journalist is a dirty word. I guess it's kind of a dirty word. It's like influencer is a dirty word to me. Yeah. As to every people, but yeah, I think there's this stigma that comes with those two words, and you know, you don't want to be part of that. But I feel like you're doing what was intentional. Yeah. You know.
I guess the word would just be interviewer.
Interviewer. Yeah. God, I don't know what else to call. I mean, I guess you're a vlogger. Yeah. But that's too general because they don't know what you're vlogging about. Yeah,
because when I think vlogger, I think like Casey Neistat or like someone like those like quick cuts everywhere.
Oh yeah, quick cuts. You're just like live vlogging. Hey guys, this video is sponsored by blah blah.
Yeah, and like I'm here with ValleySwerve. This is his room.
Join the Discord. Yeah. Or whatever. Catch my Twitch stream. Yeah. Which I don't know. That'd be cool. I would catch your stream.
I was thinking about that where I could make because like they say there's times where like there's no interviews or I just want to be at the house. Yeah. I'm thinking of making a gaming content like a streaming thing.
Yeah. Honestly, one of the best platforms, and I've only done it maybe 3 times, and one of my best friends has hammered on to me to do it. Believe it or not, and I know people don't cringe out here, but Reddit lives.
Pros.
Yeah, like
I saw you do it once.
Yeah, there's Reddit has like a live feature, just like
I wasn't aware of that.
Twitch and you know Facebook and everything, right? Or Periscope by Twitter if it's still even existing. But yeah, I mean, there's subreddits for each of these individual lives, and one of them like is Reddit sets, which is just like people, mostly DJs, do like a music set, but like it doesn't have to be DJs, like just musicians just actually performing a set, and people are really interactive there. Like people just watching, like me not even really trying and just barely posting about it. Like I just went live without actually posting about it on my feed, and just having like 22 people actually show up for like 2 hours for complete no one for me on that platform. Oh, wow. It's like, you know, and people actually commenting on it. Like it's so cool. It's like
because the whole website is like community based.
It's very community based. I mean, you know, we could say all we want. Like people who are not into Reddit, like I wouldn't say I'm a Redditor, but like, you know, there definitely is a lot of individual niche segments, you know, and I'm like, man, no wonder like this community exists, and it's like the lo-fi Reddit subreddit is famous, you know. Anyone who's trying to get on Chill Cow, like 24-hour beats and studies, like I've been trying to get into Chill Cow, you know, for years, or recently, I guess, the last 2 years. But like, yeah, like our lo-fi is probably the second biggest name in this little niche of mine. Oh wow! And I mean, they're doing like a whole like giveaway on gear and stuff, and they had recently reached like 750,000 people. Like that's crazy that many people can like come together and actually talk about this like lo-fi music of all things, like this much.
Something very niche, and they're like a giant audience for it.
And that's just lo-fi. I mean, obviously the R Vaporwave, R Feature Funk, or whatever miscellaneous band stuff, and it's just like how we just kind of like let those things just pass by us because you we have our differences. But I guess really like that's another thing too is how sorry, I was getting a phone call there.
Sorry, don't worry.
Was just trying to we're forced to not stick to. We're forced to go out to other social platforms that we're not either comfortable with, or we don't have any like reach or audience with, and we have to do it all over again. It's like that's the thing. It's like oh man, all these social media giants just like you got to be big on this. You got to like for most people they could just be big on TikTok if they just make it now. But like a lot of TikTok stars barely have an Instagram that's active. But like I think Instagram has been my preference of choice, as far as content. Like I upload there more frequently than anything. Like I just do a terrible job of mirroring it. I know there's programs that make you mirror the post, but I don't know. I just want to tailor it all the time, and I'm getting
Actually, that's one of my criticisms with Valley. I think we should just wait for it. Take it back.
No, I still got a ton of battery. So I
think that's been like one of my own criticisms in terms of like what I've seen from Valley musicians, where they post the same content on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff, and it shouldn't be that way. Honestly, what you should be doing is like Instagram, you put one stuff. On TikTok, you put something else.
Yeah, you're tailoring into the platform.
Yeah, that's what you should be doing.
You should. That's how it was supposed to be. But then also, like, think of how much hard work that is. Think of it. You just make. I'm gonna make this reel just for IG. I'm not gonna re-upload on TikTok. But like, that's why you kind of lose out there.
That's why you
unfortunately.
That's why you should like let's say like this interview.
Yeah.
I could have made so many different content just with the same event.
Yeah.
But like, okay, let's say like with Facebook, I could put the behind the scenes, setting up our conversations, just setting up. This is going on YouTube, a picture on Instagram.
Like behind the scenes kind of deal. Yeah.
And I mean, it is a little bit more work, but at the same time, you're using the same event for different platforms. And it's just because there's no point of following you on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff if you're just posting the same content over and over again.
I used to think that too. It's like, what's the point if I'm just going to post the same thing on everything else? But then, like, you got to think about your audience. Like, people have their own biases to using platforms. Like, there's a huge bias not using Facebook, right? It's just my cringy family, and I don't want them to see my political views. A bunch of old boomers, they don't get this. I'm like, I can't post NSF content on, which you can't on Facebook, I'm like, okay, so that's why Twitter is like the hard alternative. But then people who are very much the artsy crowd, they love posting Instagram reels, Instagram stories. It's like, you're not going to get those like, those like gamer Twitter people on there, it's just like oh man, I'm so screwed because like my audience, I guess my listeners they're all just different people. They're all just like micro. I got the weebs, I got the gamers, I got the artsy people. I got I got horror fanatics because I made that one horror album, and I appreciate that. But it's like I can't make them all do one thing.
Yeah,
I can't make them all go to one show, which is, I mean, that's the goal, right? But like I can't even make them all go to one platform.
Even if they did, that would still be kind of weird. Because could you imagine having the horror fan audience, your anime audience, and like a music audience, and like
it's the audience like just, and then like the artsy people like, oh, I don't even know what's going on, and then a couple of old people who follow me, some boomer parents. Like I don't know, like it's the thing is like maybe I spread myself too thin.
I think so.
And it's easier for people to have niches. I guess because like I experiment too much with the brand. I guess because like I thought I have the leisure of experimenting with the brand, and maybe I do, maybe I don't, but it just really depends. Like I actually asked like two of my friends, like, what do they think? What is the branding of ValleySwerve to them? Like, what do you think of when you think of, like, okay, like if I asked you that, like, what do you think? What is ValleySwerve to you? What's the first thing in your mind?
Well, obviously it would be you, but in terms of music, it would just be like anime stuff. Your anime aesthetic.
So when you hear ValleySwerve, you think of anime.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what?
And like the anime lo-fi music.
Anime lo-fi. Yeah. Okay, so that's
exactly what I think. Like, I don't know much about like everything about you, but like, ValleySwerve anime music.
Yeah. So like, I was saying, like, if you just not think about me as a person, but just the branding of ValleySwerve. Okay, so yeah. So I mean, I guess that's probably what most people think. Like, one of my closest friends who lives here, right in the valley, and seeing me do all these like just events I've been posting, to them they thought like when I think of ValleySwerve, I think of themed events, and honestly, I like that because I guess I always felt like I'm a bit more versatile than other performers.
He's putting down everybody. Whoever's watching this, he's saying he's better than you. None of you guys pull team events. You guys are all the same.
No, okay, my bad. Okay, no, like,
no.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. I was thinking about. That's why I paused. Like my brain froze. I was like, wait, that kind of sounds kind of condescending. Hold on, condescending right there. But I guess as far as like, I will try my hardest to within what I could do, to live up to whatever that event standard is. If it's a theme thing, like, the Matrix thing, like, of course, I went all out. I mean, that's because like I cared about it. I have actually my next upcoming event, besides April 8th, the Lo-Fi Dungeon show, I do have, sponsored by BonsaiCon, is on April 10th at the Alamo Landmark. Have you been there? It's a food truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, they're having a Demon Slayer night, so I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Weebs.
Like, oh no, you see, like that. But that's the thing. It's like I can't make everyone go to everything. It's like, I don't want to go here. There's a bunch of weebs. I don't want to go here. There's a bunch of
it's a running joke basically. Where like I watch a couple of animes, but not too much of it. But like I love making fun of people because a lot of people like I've been interviewing are like kind of nerdy. So like I stand here like, oh yeah, you fucking nerds. But like if you like look at my high school like repertoire, like I was kind of a nerdy guy, but like. It's because like I've been everywhere. Like in middle school, I was like the jock because I was into football and stuff. And in high school, I went to band, and like I always been like up and down the social ladder or whatever you want to call it. So like
the hierarchy.
I've been everywhere.
Grinded for this view.
But I get to like have that thing.
I want to think of like a hierarchy. I want to think of like lateral circles. Yeah. Like I was in this circle and that circle. It's all to me. It's all the same. I mean, it's all the same tier. No one's better than anyone for being a jock.
I think they are. I think the athletics are the best. I came from a small town, so like, even here in Texas, like football is.
As far as like the way like society works, then I mean, you got a point there. We can't change it.
I think that's the reality, and I love like making fun of people like, oh, you nerds, but like. I don't really mean it. I mean,
I know you're messing around. It's like you're being ironic about it. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of my irony might not transfer that much in the brand, but like I try to keep. And ironic isn't like the meme sense, like the irony poster or whatever.
And I think you need to be careful with that because then eventually it could actually become what you are.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, I guess what I'm struggling with is like is this a character? But like I try to do something that's not out of my personal character, but like also I'm not expressing views that are like. I wouldn't back up, but also like I'm not saying I don't have extreme views like how some people make their whole platform, whatever their music or their artistry about like an agenda, I guess, and I don't want it to be like I want my music to be like a safe space. And if there's any, I do like kind of like those green screen skits where like the one about the guitar playing one, like that was like that's because like I was that person. I was like the metalhead high schooler who was like. Why is these guys coming in playing like these awful jazz licks or whatever, or just like classical music or classical guitar, and they're playing it on instead of shredding, a bazillion BPM an hour. But it's like, because like it's just I'm just making fun of myself because it's relatable, and I feel like other people will relate to that. You know, it's just all fun. I'm not hating on anyone. Like it's just funny.
Yeah, you just have to shut off the cameras, and then he starts admitting that this is all the truth.
That's all true.
It's not truth. He hates you guys. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's true. Like, I agree with you with most of that stuff because like I don't really like posting like my views in terms of like on social media because, well, am I like I just talk with people like.
Yeah, and it's like, and I guess like because we're in our personalities right now. It's like everything has. Consequences.
Do you ever get afraid of that? Because I mean, like certain musicians that we do know or have mutual friends with have gotten the whole cancellation thing. Does that ever scare you? Like,
I mean, I think
ValleySwerve is going to get canceled.
Oh shit, they're canceling right now for everything I said.
It's only this half though, not the other side of ValleySwerve.
Oh yeah, Shade's fine. No, I think cancellation. I don't want to say it's a cringe word, but it is an exaggerated word. It became a buzzword, like toxic and problematic that just got like so like abundantly over abused where it just doesn't mean because like does cancellation really mean anything? Like are you really gonna cancel Kanye West for posting about
that's my
like his wife with or ex-wife
with Pete
Davidson? Like at the end of the day, like Kanye is still Kanye to people like musically. They still care about his albums. They're still gonna bump Yeezus and 808, and I guess they like Life of Pablo. I didn't care for that album, but you know what I mean. Like like, you can't really like, man, people still like back up Morrissey's music, and Morrissey has had some very questionable statements, And
I do believe that council it does work, it does exist, but like how you said, it has been used as a buzzword at this point. Like, it's overused.
But it also depends how much privilege that person has. Yeah. Like, of course, I mean, who are we versus Kanye and Marilyn Manson and all these people?
Like let's say just here in the Valley, like if someone does get canceled and he gets blacklisted or she or whatever. Like, that's it for them. Like, it's different venues everybody's gonna be talking with each other. Like, don't have that person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as a venue thing, you're right. Okay, that actually
and that
is
legit
very
does go to cancellation. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't think about it like that. I guess I was because, like I said, my problem is I'm thinking of internet first. I'm thinking of like viral content. Yeah. But you're doing it. I guess you have the local scene first, and that's I'm like, oh man, it's been very conflicting for me because I'm like, am I trying to be internet? Am I trying to be local? Can I do both?
So this is my view on this. People think that online enhances real life, but it's actually the other way around. Real life enhances, yes.
Yeah. Unless like you are one of those like sensations that goes viral
once in a while,
without the context of where you're actually from, like where you live. I mean, think of VTubers, man. Like, do people know? The whole thing is like VTubers do the best they can to not be doxxed. They talk as little as possible. And for context, VTubers are like, those little virtual anime girls on YouTube that are like playing streaming games and stuff. And they talk with like one of them. I was like, why don't we turn your character like Valleytron into like a VTuber? I'm like, man, honestly, man, if I get the budget, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll freaking do it. I'll even just do one of those talking JPEGs. That's my next stream. I'm just gonna do that. Yeah. Like a voice changer. Hey guys.
But yeah, that's why like when it comes to cancellation. Obviously, like big acts, they're not going to get canceled. There's no way.
Yeah, they're too big. Yeah,
small, local, regional, that could happen.
Yeah, and I guess it's like, I mean, to me, it's like yes, but it's only a real fear if like you absolutely do something wrong. Like if you're actually a piece of shit, I mean, sure, then you'll worry about it. But like, I've been comfortable addressing myself as like my actual name. I haven't done anything extreme, right? I haven't expressed like even like, I know anytime you get a political or some kind of side like worldview, that becomes questionable for people, which is kind of dumb because it's like unless it's like, okay, if you're not like a Nazi or anything, like I can understand, I can empathize, with some of your, because like views are shaped by your environment and what you grew up with, and I understand if like especially in art it becomes like a statement, right? I mean, I like political. I mean, I guess to me, I think everything's political. Like there is some kind of like politicalness behind things, but like, I just as far as like I just making things like a safe space, like everyone, like I think a lot of people, I would hope a lot of rational people here would like, we can all agree, like safe space are important, and if that comes in terms with like this whole cancellation, like I don't know, like I think I'm way too small, or like we're kind of too small to like really worry about it, unless you did something really fucked up, like you know what I mean, like. But I go what you're saying, like from maybe other people you've talked to, with your experiences and stuff.
From what I've seen, it's just it's one thing I do get concerned about because like I've mentioned it. Let's say that someone does deserve whatever. They do deserve a way to get back into performing again, or like the path to redemption. Like
redemption arcs and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you can't just have a person like, because let's say you get canceled and say fuck you. You know what? No more music for ValleySwerve. I don't want him doing the Matrix anymore.
Oh yeah, blacklist this guy.
I'm tired of themed events already.
Themed events suck.
Yeah, they suck.
I don't want to pay this guy. Nobody shows up.
Like let's say you did something bad.
Yeah.
If people reacted this way, you're not going to become better as a person. You're going to become like, oh no, they're after me because of my views. And you're going to like dig in deeper into like what you already believed.
Yeah. Or like if you did something,
compared to like, hey, no, come back and you could perform it too, but we'll talk with you and like we'll try to understand why you have these views and
Yeah, I mean, I guess because like there's cancellation in two different aspects, right? There's one for views, and then there's also, I guess like when you probably brought up cancellation, it meant like, I don't know if you meant views or you mean like I can't say the word on YouTube, but some form of aggression. Essay, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I understand that. But I mean that obviously those two things have different weights, and I don't want to. And this is a very sensitive topic that you brought up, but like just to clarify, like they're viewed totally different things in my eyes. Like obviously essay and I guess physical essay or physical a word, like that clearly has much more weight. I mean that's something more like recognizably understand, like that's more understandable why things happen, like as you said, the the cancellation.
Yeah, that's why like I always try to like, you know, keep an open mind. Like I'm never going to like I don't
I'm not trying to cross be like, oh, they're the same thing. Like obviously one is actually worse than the other, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have views, but like versus like actual physical things happening. I totally get that.
Even with the physical thing, I would still want to talk to that person just to see like what actually happened, because you never know. Like sometimes there's the he said, she said.
The he said, she said. Yeah, I know what you're saying, like, the different stories. Yeah,
like
it is important.
I think it's still open to like just talking with them just to see what happened, because you never know.
Yeah.
So I don't mind talking with controversial figures or anything like that. So like if anybody like ever goes through that, like I wouldn't mind talking to them, because sometimes you just need to hear people out. Otherwise, you villainize everybody. Eventually, something's going to happen to you, and you're going to be like the next one in line where like, hey.
Yeah, I understand. Especially like, I mean, you know, like I said, like, going back to like, we don't really realize how small the valley is.
Yeah.
You know, we think like, oh, it's not that big, but it really is big. Like how you mentioned with that reporter, that one instance, with the PR instance, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, it could be a meme here, but when does it when is it really a meme? When is it like branded forever? And then when does that reach the scope of your geographical audience, you know, like as you mentioned, like, oh yeah, it could just be, it's just a meme here, but it's not really just a meme.
Yeah.
Or outside, or, you know, like they said, the consequences.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But or you just go like, you know, what's that classic, like all bad news is good news, all PR is bad PR.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely like my shithead self in high school, like trying to have a metal band. Oh man, I have the speakers on over
your
here.
Discord.
My Discord over here.
Like, what did I get a message?
Oh no, Discord. They posted memes in general.
He's a gamer boy.
Yeah. But any other man? Because like, I guess I could promote stuff that I was gonna do, but like I don't know when this video will be uploaded. I think at least before for sure next Friday, right? Or did you have like a huge queue?
No, it should be uploaded before next Friday. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess if when you upload this, could we include the links to like my coming up events?
Yeah. I let people plug in whatever events they need to.
Yeah, because I feel like just plugging into the video like this just never ages well. It's just like, oh yeah, that event happened like a year ago. You know what I mean? Like when someone watches this in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because I try not to say like topical with like the current events and all stuff, because it does age your videos.
Yeah, it ages the videos a lot. I don't know what else I guess there's a performance I could do, right? Besides that.
Sure. Yeah. Like after the interview's over, we can do a performance.
But yeah, any other questions that off the top of your mind?
I guess for the last question, like, as always, I ask everybody who ever watches this podcast knows my last question is, what was your favorite part of the interview?
Man, let's see. Well, I guess us like being super essential about like the cyber dystopia or the metaverse. That was a cool commentary. I know a lot of us have huge grievances with it, you know, but also optimism with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be both.
Just kind of like when you made me kind of reflect, like from the last couple of interviews, like, oh man, what have I been trying to do with ValleySwerve? Like, is my strategy the same? Like thinking about like talking about like how my strategy has changed. You know, not necessarily just like game the algorithm, but like actually trying to do something more organic.
Again, oh, he's going through puberty again.
Puberty, you know, like talking, but like just kind of just like talking about like the real, you know, like really the longer the reel is, the longer TikTok, the longer the video in general is, the worse it is. You know, unfortunately, by algorithm, you know, standards, by design, you know, and just I would feel like those were probably the highlights in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
And I guess suppose the beat performance I haven't done yet. We transition to that right now.
We'll transition to that.
But yeah, I think so. I think those were like probably the most memorable parts.
Yeah.
In the last 2 hours?
I
don't know. It's been a while.
Time goes really quick.
Yeah, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, like anybody who ever interviewed, like they think like, oh, it just be like a couple of minutes, whatever. Then it goes like really fast. Like what? 2 hours later?
It's like what? How long have I been sitting here with like these lights like beating down my ass? I'm just look over here and I'm just like, man, at the shutter. I'm just
That's why I never look at the lights. I look at the person because the lights are bright. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I know you're sweating over here, bro. It's like I gotta lower the thermostat more.
Yeah.
Like I gotta drop down like 69 or something.
Oh, the funny number. Yeah, nice number. So guys, thank you for watching, and the next part will be ValleySwerve's performance.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
You are watching ValleySwerve Television.